All right, so we're going to get started. It's great to be here tonight. It's an interesting time to be in high school. January is always for those of us that have been doing administration or guidance counseling. It is scheduling season, and we, as much as it's hard to believe, we are hitting the halfway point in the current school year. We are already beginning to plan for next school year, and so again, I appreciate everyone who's coming out tonight to talk a little bit about the student scheduling piece. And I want to just kind of explain some of the ground rules for tonight. I know we're probably all Zoomed or Google Meeted out at this point, but please, if you have any questions throughout the night, please feel free to put them in the chat, which is located at the bottom, or you can unmute yourself and ask questions as we go. There'll be time at each individual part to ask questions, and then I'll be having a question and answer session at the end. But I'm honored tonight to have a bunch of my colleagues here this evening. We have Mr. Silipina, who is our assistant principal in charge of athletics. We have Mrs. Mildner, our assistant principal. We have Ms. Busher, one of the members of our child study team, Ms. Escudero and Mrs. Crocker, who are members of our guidance department. So I see them on my screen. I hope I'm not missing anyone else as we go. I know some of our supervisors are going to be popping in throughout the time, but I appreciate my colleagues taking the time to be here tonight too, to support their students. It is critically important. So I wanted to talk tonight about charting a course to success at Pequannock Township High School. There's no doubt that the last 10 months, 11 months have been incredibly difficult. And it has been just a tremendous accomplishment on everyone's part. The teachers, the parents, the students, the community, to help keep school going. And it hasn't been perfect. There have been bumps in the road, but in all honesty, I think we've done a pretty darn good job of trying to keep it going. And that's a testament to you, a testament to your outstanding kids and to our staff. Our staff has been trying very, very hard to develop exciting ways to reach kids in this type of an environment. We've been in school, we've been out of school, we've been in school, we've been out of school, and it requires a lot of patience and a lot of flexibility. I speak to you tonight as, of course, the high school principal, but I'm also a parent of two kids that are going through this too. One's a 7th grader and one's a 5th grader. And, for those of you that remember the elementary years, the 5th grade year is their culminating year, and a lot of exciting things are supposed to be happening for the 5th graders. And, it's not always happening that way. And my son in middle school he's in 7th grade, and he's been in PV for probably, 4 months total. So, and he's halfway through his middle school career. So I understand what you're going through as a parent, and it's helped me guide what we need to do here at the high school. And so what I wanted to talk to you tonight about is a little bit about our current reality. And I use this quote with the students: a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, right? If things were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody, we'd be doing online learning since the beginning. But that's not the way that it is. Our purpose is to be in school. But right now that's not the reality. And so we have our challenges, and the waters are very rough. But when we get through this, it's going to make us stronger. This has certainly made me a better parent. It's made me a stronger principal. I'm able to help my teachers and the students a little bit better. And when the waters are a little less rough, we're going to hopefully know that this process in school, we're going to appreciate how easy it used to be. And in meeting with the students the last several days, one of the first questions that they asked me was, can we please come back to school? And what that tells me is they do miss it. And, I think some people took for granted when we were here. And so hopefully on Tuesday, and I'll talk a little bit about that now, on Tuesday, we'll be back together. Because our current reality is our goal is to return to in-person instruction on Tuesday, January 19th with our blue cohort. We're going to follow the proper health and safety protocols. Many people question, why didn't we open on January 4th? Why didn't we open this week? Unfortunately, we did have a number of cases that popped up after the break, and that's natural. The holidays were here. There was a lot of free time. Things were happening, and these 2 weeks have enabled us to kind of make sure everybody's okay. And there are, I'm not going to lie and say that there won't be cases between now and the end of the year, because that's just not realistic. But I think that we have procedures and protocols in place that will help us stay open, and that's that is also a partnership with the students and with you at home. I know I've spoken to many of you. It's not easy being a parent of a high school student, right? They want to go out, they want to socialize, people are working. It's all part of life. We want to try and get back to reality. If we can do it in that safe manner, we're going to be in good shape. So I appreciate your flexibility, your patience through this process, because it's required a lot of responsibility, a lot of dedication, and a lot of accountability on the part of your children. You know, many of you are off going to work every day, and you're leaving your kids at home to do the work, and you're expecting that it gets done, right? And so it's keeping on top of them and making them be responsible. And so that's what part of being high school is all about. The other piece of this, on top of the pandemic, is that our kids are living at a time of great change and civic engagement, right? We have had, since this all started, we've had the Black Lives Matter movement. We've had a presidential election. We've had the incident that happened Wednesday. We had the proceedings tonight. I mean, there's just so many things that are happening. And I talked to my parents about this, and they're like, yeah, you know, we lived through the civil rights movement and different things were happening. Our kids are going to vote in the next presidential election. Our kids are going to have kids eventually, and they're going to be learning about what's happening right now. Whatever we believe about it or feel strongly about, that's our personal convictions. But at the end of the day, this is a great time of learning for our kids. And you know, the conversations that they're having with each other, with their teachers, and with you is critically important. And so I thank you for being a part of that, because every day matters. Every day that we can take advantage to learn and to grow, it matters. And I told the kids today, you get out every day what you're willing to put into it. You know, whether you're involved in the class and you get up every day and you log into your computer and you participate in a lesson, or it's getting ready for your activity, whether it was marching band in the fall or now it's the sports seasons, whatever it is, you get up and you push yourself and you get better every day. Every day matters. And, you know, you might have been on here earlier. I was doing my meetings from home because I've been affected by this too. My son eats, sleeps, and breathes basketball, but I got an email that he was close to someone who was COVID positive, right? So I had to go through the process just like many of you have as parents. And so I know what everybody's going through. And so, again, I talk to you tonight, not just as a principal, but as a parent. And every day counts. So I look forward to, you know, hopefully he's okay. And we're waiting on some test results, and I'm sure he is. But, you know, this is a process that requires a lot of patience and a lot of flexibility. So there's a lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. The most important is going to be scheduling. But before we get to that, I just wanted to highlight some things that we're currently going through right now with kids and asking for your support with and just keeping you informed. So I'm going to ask Ms. Milner, just talk a little bit about attendance. So Mrs. Milner, the show is yours.
So I am a parent of a high school student as well. So I completely understand the frustration it is to be monitoring your students. And especially at this time, you know, when the students are in high school, we're expecting them to have some accountability of their own to be able to log in and follow the schedule. But mistakes happen, you know, they might miss a class, maybe the Wi-Fi didn't work. So we understand that there's situations. So what I'm doing with attendance right now is normally I would be looking at the daily attendance, meaning if the student came to school, in all likelihood, unless they were late to school or left early, they were attending every class. But now it's a little bit different because now they're at home, so they can log in, log out, log in, log out. So I'm looking at period attendance. The way the period attendance works, and specifically at a high school level, is it's called seat time. So for students to acquire the credit in a class or a course, they have to have a certain number of hours. So if they're absent too many times in a class, they could lose credit. It's separate from the grading. Grading is one thing. So if they get an A in the class, perfect. But they also have to maintain the credit. So if your child is going to be absent, meaning maybe they're not feeling well, they're going to see the doctor, We have students that are going to get their license. They were very happy that DMV opened up for them to do that. We have students that maybe they're doing virtual tours for college and they can't attend their classes that day. Maybe you have COVID in the house, or look, there's still other illnesses that are still happening besides COVID. So when those things happen, it is very important for the students to reach out for the teachers and for the parents to reach out either to the teachers or the attendance kiosk, that's attendance@pequannock.org, to make sure that we are aware. So that way they would be marked absent, but we have documentation or we have a call from you or an email from you saying that there was a Wi-Fi issue or there's something going on at the house. So when I look at attendance, I can see that, okay, I'm not going to be looking at certain days for accumulating credit loss. So we're very understanding right now with everything going on of the situations that could arise that could prevent your child from attending a class. So we're very giving. I am still sending out letters. Teachers should still be sending out emails to you, just giving you a heads up. But understand that right now with everything going on, that's not the be all end all. As long as we have some communication and we see that the student is doing better with their attendance, we are more than happy to work with you and the students. So don't be totally scared if you get a letter. It's just kind of a heads up. Parents can check the attendance on real time. So please make sure that you're doing that. Real time is great for checking the grades and attendance. So please do that. Looking at the slide that Mr. Hazler just put up, this is the maximum number of absences you can have. So once students reach 17, that's it. They lose credit for a full year course. That would be like your math, your English, your science. 13 for physical education, 9 for semester classes, or 5 for health classes. So once that happens, the child is formally noted to have lost credit. Now, again, doesn't mean we can't work on that. So if you let me know, let Mr. Hazler know that you have that concern and we want to work on this and see what the issue was. There could also be an error. Maybe the student was there and they didn't fill out the attendance form, or maybe they didn't turn on the camera. We can work with something, but the students have to be attending, doing what the teacher is asking them to do, having the camera on, responding to the teacher when they're called on, because some students are pointing their cameras to the ceiling, which the teacher may accept as long as the student is responding when they're called on. So sometimes the teachers may call on them and then there's crickets. There's nobody there. So the students, you may see your student on, but we need to be double checking that they're actually in the class. They didn't mute the class. They're responding to the class just like they would in person. So that's all we ask, because it's very hard. The learning can be very difficult right now. So we definitely need them attending any possible opportunity that they have so that they can get the best out of the educational system right now. We know it's difficult. As Mr. Hazler said, he has children in the district. I have a high school student. It's hard, and it's hard to juggle work and it's hard to juggle the attendance, but please use us. Reach out to the guidance counselors if you have questions. Reach out to me, anything having to do with attendance or performance. And Mr. Frederick's gonna talk later about things. So here we go, to grade. So please make sure that you use us. We're a great resource. We'll help you out.
Good evening, everybody. So as Ms. Milner was saying, you know, attendance is a big part of really judging to see how your son or daughter are currently doing this school year. And that really wraps into grades. And one thing that we're trying to, you know, definitely tell our students, and obviously, you know, if myself or one of my counselors and administrators speaks to one of you during the school year, or any other parent, it's that the future is coming eventually, you know, and we're always thinking about in the guidance department, what is going to be your son or daughter's transition? What do they want to do afterwards? And a large portion of our students in our district do end up going to college. So it's very important that, you know, your son or daughter is still taking their grades very seriously. The one thing that I do want to say is that marking period is going to end in 9 days. So as a parent, you know, understand what that date is. There's many different ways that we can look at grades and try to help our students. There's definitely suggestions where if you feel like there's, you know, a problem with your son or daughter's grade, or if you want to have a conference with a guidance counselor, with a teacher, those are things that we're always willing to set up. We really know this year more than ever the social and emotional well-being of your child, as well as their academic, it all goes hand in hand, and we're trying to address that as a department. It's really important as we move forward throughout the school year and continue to go on, that obviously if there's any, concerns that you have, always reach out to us, let us know, and we will definitely address it. The one thing I could say, there's a few parents that are on the Zoom tonight that I've already spoken to this school year, and the one great thing about Pequannock is everyone works together really well, and definitely in times that are tough like this, that's a major positive. Also, too, just to really focus on, as we move forward into the school year and as your son and daughter are taking their classes, and Mr. Hazler is going to get to this in more depth, really start focusing on, what kind of classes should he or she be taking next school year, and that's going to be the really big meat and potatoes of this presentation, because once again, you're preparing for your son or daughter's future. And obviously, you're along that trip with us, and we get a few more years with them, and then eventually we can lead them to graduation and have them reach success. But, finally, most importantly, as I said before, if you have any concerns, if you feel that your son or daughter, you want to talk to a guidance counselor because you think something's wrong, mental health right now is a very, very big thing. And, I have some of my guidance counselors and case managers on right now. And, that's something daily that we're working with. We deal with outside clinicians to try to do referrals for parents. But just know that as a student service department, we really think it's important. And we know, as, treating the whole student, it's academics and it's social and emotional too. So, enjoy the rest of this presentation. It's a great one. So if you have any questions, always just let me know.
Thanks, Mr. Frederick. And, one of the things that I talked about with the kids is, as we're getting close to the end of the second marking period, students are trying to catch up on their work, right? And they're handing a lot of things in. You'll see the one comment there, and this is really for the kids. You can't expect the teachers to drop everything in grade, but at the same time, the teachers should be updating their grades, right? And so if you're looking on real time, and I know there's many of you out there that check it as much as you check your social media accounts, all right, you want to make sure that that teacher is updating their grades. And if they're not, reach out to them. And if there's an issue, you reach out to us, right? Because that's an important part of the communication. It's got to be a partnership. And, I hold myself accountable, I hold the teachers accountable, and I hold our students accountable. So we're all in this together, working simultaneously. So it is important. And, we'll work as diligently as we can to make sure that those grades are updated as quickly as we can. So your teachers are always the first point of contact. All right. And then, if you don't get the answers that you're looking for, you reach out to the guidance counselors and then to us here at the office, and we are happy to help. One of the other big pieces of success at our high school is our sports and activities. And we have a lot of athletes. We have a lot of people doing different activities. Our spring musical starting up. Our mock trial team just won their first virtual meet last night. So we got a lot of things happening. So Mr. Silipina is going to talk a little bit about sports and activities, because there has been some changes that you need to be aware of. So Mr. Silipina, in your sharp vest, you are up next.
Thank you, Mr. Hazler. As Mr. Hazler had mentioned earlier, this week we had class meetings with the freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And when it was my turn to speak, this was the first slide that would show up. And I would start every meeting the same way, talking about how great it was to have students back in the building. For the last 2 weeks, we've been practicing ice hockey, and the first ice hockey game is approaching us this coming Friday. But recently on Monday, boys and girls basketball practice started. And like I said, it was great to see everybody coming in, and it was great to see, you could tell they were all smiling, even though they're all wearing masks and doing everything that they were asked to do. They were just all ready from the first moment they walked through that door, creating those positive memories. And that's what it really is all about. It's about making those memories and having a great time as long as we possibly can, because we try to tell the kids, you do the very best you can when you're in school, as far as being safe and following the proper safety protocols. And then when you go home, you have to do the same thing. You have to use your head, use your common sense, social distance, wear a mask, do everything you possibly can, because if you're having this much fun on day one, imagine how much fun you would have had the entire season if we can go all the way through. So the next thing I want to talk about is eligibility. And for some of the parents, they may not fully understand athletic eligibility especially when it comes to ninth grade. But overall, February 1st, like Mr. Frederick said before, 9 days from now is the end of the market period, but February 1st, I'm going to do an eligibility check. So your son or daughter, if they plan on playing a sport after February 1st, they must currently be passing 15 credits. Now, this is a little different for a couple of reasons. Number one, for the freshman parents, for the freshman athletes, as soon as they walk through the door this year, they were eligible to play in the fall and in the winter. But the winter actually ends at February 1st when it comes to eligibility. So what does that mean? A couple of the sports have actually moved this year. So anyone's child that plans on wrestling or playing girls volleyball, instead of just being eligible from the prior year, you now have to be currently passing 15 credits in order to start the wrestling season or the girls volleyball season, as well as the other spring sports, which I'll get into in another slide. For the the students that are on teams right now, there will be away game procedures that their head coaches will go over with you. We are following the NJSIAA and the NJAC rules regarding fan attendance. Now, unfortunately, we're not allowed to have fans in our gymnasium right now. But for those of you that tuned in last year, we have been live streaming. We have experience with live streaming because we have a fantastic camera in our large gym. So for volleyball matches, wrestling matches, boys and girls basketball, unified basketball, anything that happens in that gym will be live streamed, all levels, freshman, JV, varsity, and then it will automatically upload onto YouTube and will be there forever. So if you can't watch it live, you could definitely go back and watch as many times as you like at a later time. We're also planning on doing, and this is my personal favorite, a virtual fan zone. I saw this in the NBA, the NFL, where they have the fans come in to a Zoom link or a Google Meet, and they become one of the little tiles in the box. So I'm going to wheel down a smart board, and I'm going to provide the students and the families via my social media page the link to become a virtual fan. And basically, you can watch the game on YouTube and try to find yourself on the whiteboard as a fan inside the gymnasium. It's going to be pretty cool. And as I mentioned before, safety beyond the school in order to keep this going, because the kids have been having so much fun the last few days, and they really, really want to keep up this positive momentum, but they know it's up to them to make sure to make the best decisions possible while they're coming to school and then once they leave and they're at home. So I put this slide together today because I'm a visual person and I need to see it. If I were to just explain it, it sounds super confusing, but the winter has been broken down into 3 separate categories: season 2, season 2A, and season 3. So let's start from the top. Winter season 2 includes ice hockey, girls, boys, unified basketball, and winter cheer, all of which the registration is currently closed. Tryouts have started. The seasons are underway. Winter season 2A registration is also closed because that season is about to start shortly. Girls and boys swimming and winter track. Winter season 3, I'm sorry if some of you are confused because I'm almost confused and I'm supposed to know this for a living. Registration is not open yet. So if your son or daughter is planning on wrestling or playing girls volleyball, they need to register starting February 1st. It's open from February 1st to February 19th at this link right here. So the big part about all of this, nothing is how it was last year, nothing at all. So if you already registered for girls volleyball back in the summer because you thought we were playing in the fall, you need to do it again. If you registered for wrestling back when winter registration opened, you need to register again. And the reason is the health history update is only good for 90 days. So we have to make sure we have an updated health history update, if that makes sense, right? And we also have to make sure that your son or daughter's physical date will include March 1st, the start date. As long as their physical includes March 1st of 2021, they are cleared to play. If you have any questions about that, you could call our nurse's office. She's great. Olga is wonderful. She's all over this stuff. You can call my office and we could forward you over to her. You could shoot either one of us an email if you don't understand that part. But your health history update has to be updated in our system, and you have to have your physical included up into or beyond March 1st in order to be eligible for that entire season.
All right.
Switch the slide there. You can switch the slide, Mr. Hazer. I'm not done talking yet.
Not done. I'm sorry. I forgot the spring season.
So we do have some more activities. I'm going to just brush over these quickly. So for the spring season, the registration has not opened up yet, but these are the dates that they go from, and these are all the sports that we offer. Where you see the dates, the actual competition dates are different for each sport, and that can be found on our NJSIAA website. Actually, softball and baseball pitchers and catchers can report March 26th. And unfortunately, the NJSIAA made it sound great in the beginning, in the summer, saying, students can play up to 4 sports now. This is great. However, they're not permitted to play multiple sports at the same time. So if they are wrestling and they are a baseball player at the same time, at some point, there's going to be some crossover. If your son or daughter wrestles and they see the season all the way through until April 18th, they can begin playing baseball or softball on April 19th. They no longer have to sit out for 6 practices before they play in a competition. They can start up right away. And every effort is being made to have a full season, including all county tournaments and postseason tournaments, especially since the spring season was completely lost last year. Thank you for your time and have a great night. And I'm here if you need to ask any questions.
Thanks, Mr. Silipina. I was actually going to ask you a question about what you thought about the James Harden trade, but we only have a limited time here tonight. So I know I'll be talking about that with some students tomorrow. But so thank you for that update about sports and activities. That is a huge part of our high school. And so the crux of our meeting tonight is to talk to you a little bit about the scheduling process. And as I mentioned earlier, we're hitting the halfway mark of this year, and we're already planning for next year. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about is, we learn by pushing ourselves and finding what really lies at the outer reaches of our abilities. And this quote by Josh Waitzkin, who happened to be a child prodigy chess player. I was on the Queen's Gambit kick. I don't know if you watched that on Netflix, but tremendous show. But he, this quote really stood out to me, because when you think about your child's high school experiences, are they pushing themselves? I talked to the students today about, you want to be a student that just coasts through high school, or do you want to be somebody that pushes themselves beyond what they think they can do? That's our job, is to push them as hard as we can to help them be the best that they can. And so when you're thinking about your child's schedule, we want to put them in a place of success. And we talked a little bit about what they're doing to prepare themselves for their future. And we have multiple types of students, right? We have students that are kind of like this kid, right? They're like, I don't know kind of what I want to do yet, and I'm just going to wait and see what happens. We have also the people that are making lists, right? They got their checklists, they have their goals that they want to accomplish. And you may have a child that's one or the other or somewhere in between. But either way, the future's coming, right? And we need to prepare both students, the ones that aren't so sure and the ones that have goals that really are checking off all the boxes. And so we talked a little bit today about, what does your blueprint look like? how do you mix in your talents, your passion, your skills, your values, and the purpose for learning? And when you think about that, you have to look at the graduation requirements we have and then fit in where we want to take these other classes. Now, this is our minimum graduation requirements. Okay, so wherever your child is, they may be a freshman and they've taken English 1, so they've accumulated 5 credits. You may have a junior who is now taking English 3 and they have 15 credits towards their graduation, right? English and phys ed are the only classes that a student has to take all 4 years as a minimum requirement. Now, we encourage 4 years of math and 4 years of science and 3 to 4 years of a language because that's what colleges look for. But you have to think, and your child needs to know kind of where they want to go. So what I did was I mapped it out for you. Okay, and this is, again, the schedule's based on just one particular student. Doesn't mean it's your student. And if you have a child that's in the academies, they have a specific schedule, right? But if you look at wherever your child is, this is kind of how it works. Right? If you look at English across the first row there, you have your sciences because you need 3 years of a lab science, right? And then in your senior year, you can take an AP course or a science elective. You have your math courses. You have your world history courses. Same thing with the social studies electives, okay, where you could take options for AP or you can take our really exciting social studies electives. You're going to see that I put in 3 years of a world language because that's what a majority of colleges look for, even though 2 years is the minimum. We do have a lot of students that take 4 years of a world language. And then in your freshman year, you're taking your financial lit requirements and your fine and performing arts, and then you have your electives that you can choose from. Okay, so I'm going to have this presentation live. You don't have to, take notes on this. This is going to be posted on the website, but it's a snapshot of kind of just an overall picture, and your counselors will help you fill in those elective spots so that you fulfill all the graduation requirements because there's college and career requirements that you do have to fulfill. Okay, so that's what a schedule example might look like. And as questions pop up in the chat, we will certainly address them. So if you have questions and you want to put them in the chat as we go, we'll address them throughout the presentation. Okay, so how do I know what my child's options are? Well, I emailed you a copy of the program of studies, but what we tried to do for you as parents and as students is make it a little simpler, right? I don't know about you, but reading 70 pages can be a lot. So what we're going to do, and we're going to release this on Friday, is we've created a website for you that really simplifies the process. Okay, so what you can do is our program of studies is available here, but if you look on the left-hand side, depending on where your child is, you can take a look at all of the courses that are available. So let's just say I have a 10th grade child. Okay, I'm going to click on grade 11 electives because that's what they're going to be taking next year. So I'm going to click on the grade 11 electives and it breaks everything down for me, okay, in terms of what my options are and the courses that are available. And you'll look at, there's a lot here, right? There's a lot here that you can take. So what if I'm interested in these social studies electives? How do I learn more about them? Well, I go down here and I go to social studies electives and boom, here it is. Okay, here are descriptions of all of the courses. And let's say that I want to take an AP class in social studies. I click on my AP courses and I have all the benefits of taking AP classes. Okay, and you can see all the courses that are offered in our AP program. So let's say that I wanted to take an AP history class. Here's our teachers and our students talking to you about what these classes are about. Why should I take AP psychology? Why would I take AP government? Why might I take US history or world history? You're hearing from our teachers and our students. So if you have a child that's involved in in any of these courses from a 10th grade and going up through 12th grade, this resource is going to be tremendous for you. It's also an opportunity for you to map it out. So if you have a child that's a freshman, what might they want to take moving forward in their sophomore, junior, and senior year? This is all here for you to take a look at. So this website's going to be available starting Friday. We're putting the final touches on it, and I'm going to be sending this out in my Panther Den, but you'll see that it's all here. Okay, selected by grade level. You can go by course, however you would like to do it. So it's a really comprehensive website, and we're going to give you time, obviously, to look through it. But if you want to, you can certainly go to our program of studies starting right now and take a look at your courses. We're going to be offering an elective fair for our students next week, where they'll have the opportunity to go talk to teachers about elective classes. Teachers will be live during the 2 o'clock window, and they can go. And so if you want to know about a business course, Mr. Brady might be available to talk about accounting, or if you want to be in band and you want to talk with Mr. Streifer will be available. So we have all of these options for you when it comes to the electives. So I'm going to just highlight some courses depending on what grade your child's in. Like, for example, in grade 12, as you move into grade 12, our English classes become more, they're broken up by content rather than just taking British literature, right? In grade 12, they're going to be taking dystopian literature and science fiction and contemporary fiction. They also have the opportunity in grades 11 or 12 to take these AP courses. And what I want you to know is that these AP language and AP literature courses, they're so important. I go in these classes all the time, and Mr. Shirazi's in there, and I don't want to leave. They're classes that aren't just about reading books. So, and that's what scares students sometimes, is that they think the AP English classes are all about reading books. Yes, you read, but you have a lot of discussion. You know, that they're going to be reading the inaugural address and dissecting the inaugural address. They read various nonfiction texts. They're doing all kinds of conversation, deep and rich conversations. And so if your child's in like an English 3 honors course right now, or doing well in an English 3 academic course, I would strongly encourage them to take one of the AP, well, the AP Lit's really for grade 12, but I would encourage them to take the AP language course, because it really is a great course. So I would talk to your English teachers about that because it really is a great option. We also have, as if you're a 10th, 11th, or going to be 12th grader, we have an AP seminar or AP research. You don't have to be an honors student to be in these classes. But if you're interested in doing some research and learning about the research process, our students do really well. And they are very good classes that look good on a college transcript. So again, I'm just highlighting some courses that parents might not know about that are in the program of studies. When you look at language arts, we have creative writing and journalism. And new for next year, we have the people that are in creative writing and journalism. They wanted the course so bad, we're creating a second level. And so that speaks to what's happening in those classes, which is nice. In our business courses, the course this year is sports and entertainment marketing. That always gets alternated with visual and fashion merchandising. So the students could take that, or they could take accounting, marketing, entrepreneurship, or Wall Street when they get to grades 10, 11, and 12. In music, you have piano and music technology, along with band, choir, music theory, and AP music theory. It's really important for you to understand, and I know band and choir are a big part of our school. Band and choir are electives. So in a minute, I'm going to show you how to select this, but don't just assume that because you're in band this year, you're going to be in band next year. You want to make sure you put that on your course requests when you're going to recommend courses. Okay, that's really, really important to understand. A lot of people, they do their schedule and they're like, well, how come I didn't get band? Well, they didn't necessarily request it. So, you know, they just thought that they would be put in it because they were in it last year. So it's really important that students understand that. And I went through that with them at the meeting today. We do have theater arts and dance. We do offer that. It's hard to find a teacher, but we do like to have it in our program of studies in the hopes that we can find a teacher to do it, because we know how passionate our students are in these areas. We have a lot of students that are dancing outside of school and involved in theater. So we want to offer these programs for our students. So if this is something that interests your child, I would highly encourage you that they reach out and request it. In social studies, a new elective next year. When talking with the teachers, you know, government is something that our students, unfortunately, is not always a focus. So we came up with current trends in civic engagement, a civics class, which I think is really needed. And so that's going to be a course that you can take in addition to your regular social studies classes. We have a Holocaust and genocide course. We have criminal law and social justice. We have introduction to psychology. So a lot of options that are available in our social studies electives. In technology, we have digital media design and media production. So if you're interested and your child is interested in those types of classes, we do have a class running this year, and therefore we're going to offer media production too. We have students that are going to go out and videotape all of our events and live stream them, do commentary, do broadcasting, market them. There's a lot going on in media production too. We also have a variety of AP courses that we offer at the upper levels. One of the courses that is very popular is AP Psychology, and also AP Computer Science Principles. You don't have to be in a computer science course to take AP Computer Science. That is open to everyone. And so those courses we encourage students to take if they're willing to work hard. And that's really what it comes down to in any of these courses for the AP levels. And then we also like to offer to our grades 11 and 12 students, if they are interested, we do have an aviation academy, and we open it up to the 11th and 12th graders because they're looking for things that they're passionate about as they prepare for college. So we do offer up the aviation program for you. And so this is a time for you to look through some of the courses that are available and talk with your students about what they might be interested in. What I do want to do for the parents that are junior parents on here, and I know there are many of you, Mrs. Crocker is here and is going to talk a little bit about our work-based learning program that's available for seniors. So Ms. Crocker, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I can. Hello, everybody. I'm Betsy Crocker, and Angela Escudero and I are both work-based learning coordinators. The program used to be called SLE, and a lot of people know it as work study. And what it is, the state as well as the country has put a big emphasis on experiential learning to have our students leave and be ready to be at the final point of their schooling, whether it be college or right after high school, to be a valuable part of the workforce. So we have the offering for our seniors to do their academics in the morning, and then after lunch, they can leave and go to a job, an internship, a volunteer experience, whatever they're passionate about. It could be their regular part-time job. It can be things volunteering, such as in Chilton in a normal year when we're able to be in there. We have students who go and job shadow in the elementary schools and actually get paid for the lunch aid portion of that in our regular school year environment. But it could be all different kinds of things, and they get credit for this. When they go in to choose it, there's two things you need to know. There's a drop-down part, which Mr. Hazler will show you in a little bit. This is listed under special programs, and there will be 4 choices, WBL, 5, 10, 15, or 20, and that's just how many credits they'll earn for it. So if they are going to leave after lunch, that means they'll have 4 courses that this will be taking the place of, so they'll earn 20 credits. And for that, they'll have to work 10 to 12 hours per week. If they do the 10, that means, well, let's use, like Mr. Hazler spoke about, AP Lit, which is a fantastic course. That's often offered during period 5. So if they want to stay for that, and then they can leave 6, 7, and 8 and go off to their work or volunteer experience. I sent out an email today to both parents and students of the junior class. And on that, there's a link, excuse me, a link which you can also see on the screen here at the bottom, to a form that has to be signed by parents in order for us to keep this request in your child's schedule. Because they are leaving school early, we just want you to know that this is what they're requesting and make sure that's okay with you. So those forms are due back next Thursday, which is the 21st. And there will be a box and guidance they can drop it off in. If they want to drop it off the remainder of this week when the school is not actually open, inside the front door, there's a table where student items are placed. I'll have a box there that they can put the form in. And I say that because last year, students who turned it in after the due date, unfortunately had to go on a wait list, and we didn't have people drop their request for it, so they weren't able to do the program. So it's a 2-step thing. It's the parent signature on the form, and then also choosing the course when it comes time to choose their electives. And if you have any questions, my email is on that form, as is Angela Escudero's, so you can contact us with any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mrs. Crocker. It's great. When I go out in town and see our students working, it's always awesome to see them, and they're always excited to see me when I go in. and our students and our businesses. So if you're a business that supports our students in town, thank you very much for that. It really is an awesome opportunity for our students that are our seniors, to give them some work-based experience. So from a scheduling process, we talked about courses that are available, and so now how does this happen? How do we choose the electives, right? And so just like with everything else, we had to come up with a way this year to make the scheduling process more streamlined, being that we're not always in school and we don't have the opportunity to meet every student in person all the time. So there were questions, are we going to have a chance to talk with our guidance counselor, our child's guidance counselor? Yes. Okay. We're still going to be having meetings. We're still going to be going over the process with you. It's just going to be a little bit different. Usually what will happen is a student will put their requests in on paper. They turn it into the guidance office, and the guidance office enters in the requests. What we're going to do this year is we want to make it a really team effort between you, your child, and us. So starting on Friday at 3 o'clock, okay, so don't go going on your parent portal right now, but on Friday at 3 o'clock, we're going to open up on the parent portal. If you looked right here on number 1, okay, there's going to be an option that says course requests, okay, and when you click on that, this is going to come up, okay, it's going to say course requests for the 21-22 school year. And right now, you won't have anything there because you haven't requested anything yet. So there's going to be a drop-down menu that says departments. And when you review the courses and you know what you want to do, okay, you're going to select a department. So for example, as a former business teacher, business is close to my heart. So I'm going to click business. And what'll happen is business courses will pop up. The first one alphabetically is accounting. Okay, but if I were to scroll down, this is a screenshot, so I can't do that. All of the business courses that are available for your child at their grade level will come up, and you'll see the descriptions, you'll see what's available. And let's say that I do want to take accounting. Okay, that's a class that I taught, so it's near and dear to my heart. Okay, I'm going to hit the little plus button. Okay, right about there. So if I want to take band, I'm going to go and I'm going to choose the music department, and I'm going to look for concert band, and I'm going to select concert band. If I want to take AP computer science principles, I'm going to look under technology, and I'm going to click on AP computer science principles. So all of that will be there. All right. So here's the thing. If you are a rising freshman, which aren't on here, this will be for my parents tomorrow night. But if I'm a rising sophomore or junior, I'm going to select 4 electives. If I'm a rising senior, I'm going to select 6. Okay, because we want to give you options, right? You may not always get every single choice because you are taking maybe an AP government class, or you're taking concert band that only runs a certain period, or you have a select schedule. So it's important that you put whatever classes you want to take. Okay, so here's an example. I took accounting 1, I took AP psychology, and then I wanted to take 2 social studies electives that are 2.5 credits. Okay, because that means it's going to complete the full year. Now, technically, I still have another course to take because I get 4 electives. I'm going to consider myself a junior. I may not look like one, but I'm going to be a junior right now, right? So I still have another course that I would need to take. So I would go back and pick one. But for the sake of this example, I just wanted to use 3. Right? So I have all my courses, and then you're going to see this little column here that says priority. So on the next slide, I am going to rank the classes that I want to take. Okay? So if I picked AP psychology as my number 1 choice. I picked accounting as my second choice. And then because they're 2.5 credit courses, I weighted current trends in civic engagement and Holocaust and genocide as the same priority. Right. And now if I took, let's say that I took another class, I wanted to take, I don't know, I want to take piano 1. Okay. So piano 1 would be my 4th choice, and I would make that my 4th priority. So I rank them in order of interest, and then I go down to the bottom and I finalize my requests. And that's all you have to do. Right. So what's nice for you is that this is going to be available online. I also have a recorded video of me doing just this for you, and I have a handout so that I will email to you. So however you want to look at it, it will be there. I'm also going to post it on Instagram for the kids. I'm going to send it via carrier pigeon, however I need to do it. Okay, this is how we're going to request electives. Hopefully this sounds like an easy process going through it. But again, you know, I know I'm going relatively quickly, but hopefully the process is pretty smooth. It's a really 5-step process. So Ms. Crocker, I see your hands up there.
Yeah, of course. Just one thing that Mr. Hazler touched on there. When it says 2.5 credits, that is a half-year course. So for those social studies electives, you have to choose them in pairs. You can't just choose one, because the other half of the year you need another course to offset it.
Right. So.
And while I'm speaking, one other thing, although the window will not be open to choose work-based learning until Friday, the form is also, Mr. Frederick, thank you for this, made sure that got onto the guidance website. So if you were going to the guidance website, scroll all the way down, the very last link there says WBL student interest form. So you could actually print that off tonight, sign it, and drop it at the school tomorrow. Thank you.
So starting Friday, all the way through next week, you're going to have the opportunity to enter course requests in, right? Right now, your child is being recommended and having conversations with their teachers about their core courses, English, math, science, social studies. And they're making recommendations based on their current marking period grades and their aptitude and motivation, right? And so we understand it's a different year. We're taking that into consideration. Right. And if there's an issue with your child's, performance, you probably know about it by now already. Okay. But in reality, our students are working really, really hard. And just so you're aware, what we're going to do is our student parent scheduling meetings are going to take place via Zoom. Okay. At right around these dates. They actually may be a little bit earlier than that, depending on how quickly you get the course requests in. Right. So the counselors look at the requests as they come in. So let's say that Mrs. Crocker, at Friday at 4 o'clock is sitting on that real-time parent portal and she fills it out. Okay. And she gets her course requests in. And I know she will, because I know Mrs. Crocker. Right. So she's excited. She's ready to rock. She's got her class. She's got her checklist. She knows what courses she's going to take. She fills it out. Mr. Hazler's her guidance counselor. Mr. Hazler's going to review it, see that Mrs. Crocker put it in, review the courses, get everything set up. I may be able to meet with you on January 25th, right? Because you have everything ready to go. So the earlier you get it in, the sooner you might get that appointment with your guidance counselor. But these are the times that we have set up for you over the course of the next 2 months or month and a half to get this done. There may be course requests that you want to appeal. Right? Maybe you don't want your child in an honors course, or maybe you do. Those are conversations that you're going to have at this meeting with your child's guidance counselor. All right. So it's not the exact schedule. It's going to be a list of their courses. Right. So it's not going to be like you have English period 1. That's not what this is. This is going to be a list of your courses. And then we run the schedule and see if everything works. If there's a change, we would notify you if you don't get the courses that you're supposed to get, right? But we look at the electives based on their priority. You may not always get your first choice. We try, but again, it's based on all of your other courses that you take, okay? We do have some future parent universities coming up on February 11th. If you are a 9th or 10th grade parent, or 11th, preparing for the PSAT and SAT. We know many of you did not get to take the SATs this year, but Mr. Portis is going to be doing a program for you, preparing for the PSAT and SAT. And these meetings are at 7. And then on the 23rd, this will be for juniors preparing for the college admissions process, because it's pretty close, right? If you're a junior parent, they're going to be walking you through the process, and it's going to be different this year. Obviously, because colleges are running virtual tours and doing different things. So we're going to walk through that process with you. I think the big piece that you need to understand with all of this, and this is really about your students too, and I said this to them at the meeting, the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. There's still a half year left to go. So that's why I said to them in the beginning, we have to make every day count. When you make every day count, you don't have to worry, right? Because you're putting that preparation in. And so for all of you here as parents that are on this screen right now, it's really, really important that you have conversations over the next week with your children about what courses they want to take, so that you have an opportunity to make the most of their schedule. Ms. Crocker, I see your hand up again.
Yeah, so you knew you didn't hear the last of me. I saw two things in the chat I just wanted to address. The STEM Academy, the times that they go out for their experiential learning, that is a work-based learning activity, but they do not need to fill out the form that has to be filled out by the seniors that are just doing the regular work-based learning. So no need to drop off the form if you're a STEM Academy person. And for the question about the allied health students that are rising juniors, they will have 4 courses automatically put into their schedule, either morning or afternoon. That will be their allied health courses. So they actually don't have to enter anything, because the other half of the day, they'll have their English, social studies, and PE. Good questions.
Yeah, there was also a question, what if you select an AP course, right? So you're going to look on when you go into real time, there's going to be courses that you can select, and there's going to be courses that you can't. So you're going to see children or students are usually recommended into APs, but if you want your child in an AP course, you would, and they're not in it when the portal opens, you're going to have a chance to see the courses prior to your guidance meeting. Right? It's not going to be a surprise. Hey, here are the courses, right? And we're going to open up the portal and you'll be able to see the courses prior to your meetings. And so if you see that your child doesn't have an AP that they want, that's a conversation you're going to have with them with the counselor at that meeting. I'm never going to discourage a student who wants to take an AP course. I want students to push themselves, but we just want to make sure that they understand the workload that's responsible. Trust me, I will never turn a student away from an AP course if the teacher and the parent and the student all feel that it's possible. I would encourage that because we want our students succeeding where they feel they can. So that's a big piece of it. Ms. Escudero?
Hi. Well, now that Mrs. Crocker jumped in, I feel like I should jump in too. So I spoke to the juniors today. Now that I have some of the junior parents captive, what I said to them was, these are uncertain times with college. Some of our students, specifically our, juniors, did not have the opportunity to take all of the SATs they wanted to, or the ACTs. They may only have one score. A lot of colleges are going test optional. The other thing that they don't have in their favor this year, hopefully it'll open up. Some of these kids, they don't have any volunteer experience on their resumes because of everything being closed down. So what does that mean? It means that the colleges really only have one document to look at. They have the transcript. So sometimes kids, not all, but sometimes kids will say, you know what, I think senior year, I'm just going to kind of skate through and maybe just take a few more electives. No, we want you to take another year of math, another year of history or science, because you want your child to present their transcript in the best light that they can do that. So like I said, if that's the only document the colleges are looking at, they're going to look at it with more of a lens under a microscope. So they really need to add some more courses to that. So just consider that when we have our meetings, so you've had that conversation with your children. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Escudero. And also, if your child has an IEP, they're going to be accommodated within their schedule process. Everything will be taken care of for them by their case managers. So we place the students appropriately. Again, this process is about, the title of our program tonight was Charting the Course to Success. These have been very, very difficult times. But when you think about what everyone's been able to do together and how we've held it together, right? Our students, I know, are gonna be successful, and it's gonna take all of us together. And so I appreciate ahead of time your patience and cooperation with this process. It's gonna be new for all of us as we go through with the online requests and things like that. But there's going to be a lot of opportunity for discussion, and that's why it's not that we're doing it early. We're trying to get ahead so that we have time at the end of the year to work on things. You know, we may see students who right now are struggling in this environment, but once we get to more in person, do better, right? And so then we can make adjustments to their schedule. Like there's so many different factors that are going into this right now. And so I really want to be ahead of the game so that we know exactly what needs to get done. I am so proud to be the principal of these kids, to watch them grow to when I knew them in middle school to where they are now. I hope they feel comfortable reaching out to us and to me specifically at any time. I want them to. You know, Miss Milner, Mr. Silipina, and I, we're here every day at the building. So if you have questions, please reach out to us. Our counselors are always available. I can't wait to get back to school on Tuesday. I know not everybody is as excited as me. Some people are nervous. Some people are scared, and that's a natural reaction, and that's okay too. You know, that's okay too. We're all in this together, and we're going to support each other through it. So, you know, I just know that down the road, we're going to look back on this. And I said this to the kids too. Mrs. Mildner always says to me, you know, Rich, this is temporary. This is temporary. Calm yourself down. When I get all flustered, she's like, we're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. So thank you again for your support. Thank you for bleeding that blue and gold that makes our school so special. Some of you are private messaging me that tell Mr. Silipina that the hardened trade is not a good one. So Mr. Silipina, that's for you. But thank you again. I'll stay on for individual questions if you have any, if you want to throw some in the chat. I wanted to keep this to an hour to be mindful of your time. But I'll record this. I'll post it on the website. And again, let's go Panthers. Have a great year, everybody. Take care.